Right, thank you, man. So, good day, ladies and gentlemen. So, this is a very lovely day, albeit it's raining cats and dogs out there. But hey, well, like they say, there's always a rainbow after a huge rain, isn't it? So, welcome to the Trade Expo Indonesia. So, my name is Javier. I'm from a project called Creo Engine. We're focusing on a gaming ecosystem, building with the concept of interoperability of assets for all the games from around the world, agnostic on network, chain, and of course, we don't care what game you are, come to us. So today we are going to have a panel session about GameFi with three great speakers from Bali and wherever it is. We have Kayash. Please introduce yourself, man.
Thanks very much. My name's Kayesh. I'm the CTO of Jetstar. We're a GameFi company that's trying to bridge Web 2 gamers into Web 3. I'll hand over.
Go ahead.
Yeah, good to be here. My name is Jelena, and I'm from Comio, previously Arch Network. We're building a Web3 game brand that is eventually will empower gamers and developers through GID system and to, for the better gaming experience. So
Please, Anna.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna Leo. So I'm the CMO of the fantastic social fi project, which is called Free City. It's built on Ethereum, and yeah, I'm gonna tell you more in a while.
And for the record, Anna is also one of our partners, by the way. Right. So thank you guys for the introduction. This is great. So welcome to Jakarta, by the way. How do you feel coming here?
Thanks very much. It's rainy and wet, but aside from that, Jakarta's amazing. I wish we were slightly more in the center, but it's beautiful where we are.
Well, yeah, sorry about that, man. Please.
yeah, I just moved back to Jakarta again, so it feels nice to be back home because I'm from here originally and lived in Bali for almost a year. So I'm back here and it's nice and not nice. So it's a love-hate relationship, but it's okay.
Well, obviously I'm not enjoying the weather outside, but it's still like super nice to be here today. Thanks for having me here.
Real nice, real nice. Thank you very much, man, for the comment. So now, when we talk about GameFi, there's always something exciting about playing games, isn't it? That's why we're in this industry. The element of surprise and everything, and well, you name it. So, what do you think is the most exciting thing about GameFi? And how do you see that this will affect the future of gaming?
So I think the gaming industry it's such an amazing force to be reckoned with in terms of the volume of users and revenue that it processes. When you look at GameFi as a new upstart within or a disruptor inside that industry, I think the best part about it is that it's actually creating waves to the point where we're seeing large studios being forced to pay attention. Right now, again, because with all of the stuff we're working on, it's all very early. It's very difficult to understand what is going to take root and what's going to take hold. But I think the fact that the disruption is beginning is probably the best part about what we're doing. It's leveling out the playing field. It's allowing anybody else to come in and try and finance their projects, to get up and running, to build games where previously the barriers to getting your game started, Kickstarter was the only other way if you weren't part of a huge studio. So now being able to use the technology that we have to raise funds, create economies around game ecosystems, I think that's what the beauty is today. There's a lot more to come, but that's what's causing people to wake up and pay attention.
Agreed, agreed. It's actually a very good point of view. I mean, there's a disruption and everything coming to the light and breaks everything apart, and so everything can be built back anew. So, Alina, what do you think?
Yeah, I think GameFi, being gaming itself being one of the biggest and highest valuation industry in the world with so many users, it allows in GameFi itself. Ever since the Axie was booming, most people, I'm not saying all, but most people see it as like okay, play to earn, earning economy, something like that, which is true. But in my point of view, I see that it's beyond that. It allows everyone literally in the world, we have the same opportunity to create something, to disrupt something, especially because we're in Indonesia and especially Southeast Asia where I'm currently focused. It is allowing everyone to create something, to disrupt something, to for the better everything, like for their better living, for their life quality and everything. And the most exciting things about GameFi is that the limitless opportunity. And to be honest, so far we're being so early. We're not mature yet, I would say. And there is more to explore. Everybody has a fair chance. It's not controlled by like a certain big studio, something like that. Everybody has a fair chance. And yeah, it's a fair game. Yeah, looking forward for more quality builders in this space. Yeah.
Real nice, real nice. Anna, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I agree to all of the above, but it's not under control of the big studios yet. Yeah, I mean, the Wizard and the rest, they are already working on that part. So, me personally, I think this field, it has the wide range of the opportunities for everyone. But from what I see is that the GameFi sector will be implemented inside of the metaverse sector, which is becoming our like next reality very soon, maybe in like couple of years. Yeah.
I see, I see. Well, those are really good look and expression towards GameFi because the disruption is what we're waiting for, right? When it crashed through the current era and the current belief that it can actually change people's life, like what you said, Elena, and it will disrupt everything. So, well, if we're talking about gaming, then I believe platforms and portals didn't run too far away from them. Let's say like Steam, for example. Well, they usually takes up huge chunk out of the game file, like around maybe 30% of the top line. So what do you think GameFi will impact these gatekeepers? What do you think?
Yeah, look, I think it's really important to understand that we actually need the industry to support the movement, right? The incumbents control a huge amount of revenue flow. So, when you look at something like Fortnite, you're talking about $6 billion worth of annual revenue. Nobody is going to allow you to come in and stop that, right? So there'll be a lot of market forces at play to prevent you from making that sort of impact. And when you talk about gaming experience, so today you go on to the Play Store, you go on to the App Store, and that's how you acquire your apps. They're also gatekeepers because they also make 30% on all purchases. So all of these different gateways have a vested interest to prevent your investment in this sort of project. Because today, when you try to provide a game that is sideloaded, the barrier to entry is so high. Just on Android itself, will say, "Warning: Are you sure you want to install this?" Right? So there's lots of barriers in our way until we get these guys on site. So I think our challenge today is we have to create a model where not only can the new emergent developer, the new emergent game creator benefit, but also the incumbents. Because without this, we're not going to be able to break through that easily. So interoperability, which is what you talk about, and standardization are going to be key to make that happen.
Thank you.
So I think we have to have everyone in Web3 gaming come on board, engage in standards. So, Engine Starter went forward and put down the 1155 standard, and that's got adoption. Now, they're also adding things like delegation and all this sort of stuff as additional recommendations and proposals. We have to go beyond that, right? We have to have unified adoption of the way SFTs will work. We have to agree on concepts like NFT death and NFT revival, NFT import. All of this stuff needs to be standardized and agreed across the industry so that we can make sure we're actually building something that will rise all boats.
Nice, nice, nice. I like that. Really, really like that. Elena, what do you think, man?
Yeah, of course. 30% is a huge number. It's a huge number in the traditional gaming. So, but Steam is one of the pioneers. So, and I think the GameFi, how will GameFi affect these gatekeepers? Well, developers will slowly move to GameFi because what? They can design their own economy. Of course, not all of that is ideal yet, but everyone's figuring out. And the second one, users have no control. I mean, the players have no control over their assets and that kind of stuff. So Steam will obviously need to adapt if they don't want
Agree.
if they don't want to lose their users. So yeah, I think most impact that will impact the developer this team is the developer itself, because yeah. So yeah.
Sorry, I just want to challenge the opinion a little bit. They're the incumbent, right? So they hold all the users. This whole concept of being able to move our assets around, the vast majority of users today don't actually care, right? It's not something which has any meaning to them because they haven't done it in the past. So I don't think it's fair to say that we will disrupt these studios with this capability. I think we want it. The real question is, why do our users want it? We know it's not directly beneficial for the studios today in the current format, and this is where interoperability will create a business case around it. But for the average user today, there's no real reason why they should do it, because they're already selling accounts. It might be illegal, right? But they're still doing it. And there are already examples of where, we spoke about AML previously. The reason why selling game accounts is illegal is because of money laundering concepts and capabilities and so on. So regulation will have to be introduced to allow someone like Steam to create a trading environment for NFTs. So I think that's why it's not as simple as saying that we're going to make these guys quiver in their boots. They know all the problems in front of us to make this happen.
Yeah, sure. And beyond that, it's the governance that's not existing in Steam. Of course, in GameFi, the users will have like more freedom to decide, like where the project goes, or like what's best for the project, like what they're gonna release. And in Steam, in traditional gaming, we don't have all that. So beyond of that interoperability system is the governance system that will slowly make Steam think like, oh, we're not allowing our users at all, like so far. And yeah, I think in the traditional gaming, it's they also don't see the need for it, like for the users to have some kind of governance. So yeah, but I think it's a this the new way, the new wave, the new phase will be so much better for the users.
I see. I see. Now, I have a sudden question related to that actually. So, in your personal view, by the way, how do you see the perfect interoperability happens now? This is challenge question,
Yeah,
please.
sure. No, so for me, interoperability means between game, not between chain. I think chain is irrelevant in this concept, right? We have to think about the buyer's perspective, and the buyer is the user. So interoperability is where I'm able to create my character inside one game, and I'm incentivized to use whatever I've built in another game. So I should be able to take this asset, use it in another game, and if it dies there, it dies in the previous game too. So, or if I break my shield in the other game, whatever's reflected back in the previous game should be the case. I think that's what the value is for the user. That's what will allow someone to understand, okay, now I've created this, I own this, and here's the utility. Because, for example, when you walk around in your shoes here, once you've worn them out, it's not as though you fly to Chicago and suddenly your shoes are fine again, right? Like that doesn't work. So, so,
That's
so,
interesting.
so the universe that you live in has to be consistent. So I think if we're able to get to this point, what you actually, and this is why I think the NFT standardization or the asset deployment standardization is so important, because that allows you to create revenue. Same example, when you go to Chicago and your shoes are worn out, you spend money in Chicago to buy new shoes. So
Exactly.
with this same concept, if my asset is being used and destroyed in another game, that game developer stands the opportunity to make revenue from me. So this is where interoperability has value. It's really around saying, hey, here's a standard for an asset. And I can take this asset wherever I want. It'll wear out, it'll add, it'll do whatever. But I think that's where the value is inside the blockchain gaming ecosystem above anything else.
I see. This is very interesting. So, Elena, Anna, what do you think?
I
I
mean, I
think
never thought about that before, but it like actually making a lot of sense, right? And it's like making the GameFi closer to the reality, which is absolutely, I don't know, exciting for me.
Yeah, I think Kai's pretty much cover like a lot of like detailed stuff, which is really great. And I think the perfect interoperability would be like when like there's an extensive storyline. So, for example, in Star Atlas, it's like a space game, and then you can extend your characters in another universe, not only in the space. For example, in the Mars, on in the or in the Earth. And also, what would be the perfect interoperability is when a few games can actually merge. For example, like one character, and they got all this like weapons collection, and they can use the weapons. They can use, for example, the gun in other games. That will be like really cool. But I agree what Kai said. Like for example, like if the bullets are like over, then you need to like you cannot use it in any of the games that it's actually interoperable. So that
I
will be the
see. I
perfect
see.
for me. Like mostly storyline because I like storyline a lot. Really fascinated by games who can write a really fascinating detailed storyline like movie, like blockbuster, like Hollywood. So I really think that will be a perfect interoperability for me.
I see. I see. Now you should try our first game, by the way. It's going to be released on the closed beta on the 1st of November. So yeah, you're
I'll
more than
take a look.
welcome to
Sure, sure.
register for the pre-registration. Get
Okay,
some more items in the game, and yeah, you start early, you start strong. All right.
okay, okay.
Well, well, well. When it comes to asset movement, so yeah, in a sense, when you move from a game to another game, I think the best way is to just move the item thoroughly instead of cloning it, right? I mean, like you said, it really makes sense. But what do you think if we just moved the things out from the game and it was gone from the previous game?
No, so you're getting down to implementation detail, and I think if we're talking about using blockchain the way we currently understand it, which is I have a wallet and my assets sit in my wallet, and what's happening today is you're requesting for that wallet to be connected. There's no such removal of asset, right? It's on your person, the same way your shoes are, right? So we can continue with the same paradigm. So I think there's no need to say I have to remove this from the game. It exists, it works, it's inside your wallet. The key really becomes when do I need to write to chain? How much writing do I need to do? How much is this going to cost? Why am I writing? So if you start with this concept where somebody's playing your game, they're all inside your ecosystem, and then they make a request to extract assets, then you write it to the chain, your implementation needs to deal with that. And you have to say, okay, you can extract it, but you can still use it inside my game either by locking it into a contract or whatever makes sense for your implementation. But this is a standard asset governance and control mechanism that you even have to have with clothes. So I think it's difficult to say exactly what it should look like, especially when you go from, first-person shooter games to car driving games. What happens? So your character may then be reflected as a skin on the car, as opposed to anything else, like a transformer style model, right? But I think this is, again, it's implementation detail, and you have to find something that works for your universe and integrates with the law.
Very fascinating. Wow, this is a entirely a new concept to me, and I told you I'll learn from you a lot. So, all right. So, oh, here's the red questions. So, on top of your head, if you have the ability to realize one game into real life, what game would that be? Let's start from the ladies first. Come on.
I'm playing Navagochi in the living room. I mean, the Avagochi, it reminds me of my childhood,
Hmm.
and it allows me to get some income out of it.
Why,
And-
why that game?
I don't know, just found it like a couple of years ago. That was one of the first games on Polygon, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just bought a lot of lands there, and I got the dropped Avagochi themselves. Yeah, just did some money out of it, and it's still enjoying though. So the second game is Elysium. That's only because of the picture, I think, because the graphics there are just amazing. Yeah,
Ah, I
it's
see.
like a fairy tale, as I say that.
Makes sense. All right.
What about
So,
you?
Lena, what about you?
Well, as I mentioned before, I really like Star Atlas. I'm really fascinated by the idea of you making a gaming storyline in the space. And of course, its playability and the graphic, of course. It's pretty playable, and also the other games that I'm currently in eye is like other side. So yeah, that's it for me.
I see. Kaish, what about you?
Well, aside from the ones we're building, I think so. Well, one that I have seen that I really like, and particularly because of the team and also because of their lens on the way their game should be interoperable, is Mythic Protocol. Right. So
Oh, wow.
you've met those guys as well, right?
Yeah, of
So
course.
they're building. It's got a great storyline. The action inside it is brilliant. I just find the whole gameplay really really cool. So I think it would be great to see that to come to fruition because it will really expose a lot more in terms of what games can come out, and they're very close to market as well. So I think that would be a great introduction for everybody to start playing. But I got to hark back where I think that more than just a game, standards, right? Agreement on standards, adoption of standards. This will be the game changer for all the games.
I see. I see. Right. That note taken, by the way. So when we're talking GameFi, I mean GameFi has been existed from a long time ago, even before the creation of Bitcoin, because it starts from Web 2, definitely, right? So because what do you think is the loophole of the nowadays GameFi? The one that we need to, fix as soon as possible.
So I I think it's difficult to talk about what a loophole is that needs to be plugged. I think it's more about what is the utility of GameFi today and where does it need to be? Today, there's a lot of siloed economy development. So everybody's used the tokens as a mechanism to raise funds for their games. They've had some concept thought through, but I mean, I'm going to pull a statistic out of thin air, but I think it's accurate where I'm saying over 90% of games have had to
Yep.
pivot
That's true. That's true.
on the original economic design. So as you look at what happened previously, so the whole play to earn environment, there wasn't a sustainable economic model there, right? So and play to earn, I have my own issues with that whole concept because I think you have to work to earn, right? Like money's not free. So I think when we think about how we build economic models for using GameFi, it has to be economically positive, even without a token. So this is something which I think a lot of developers have, or maybe not the developers, but the teams have run in saying, "Hey, we can raise cash, but we haven't yet thought through the whole economic model. We'll figure it out later." I think that's dangerous for both the company, the people investing in the token, as well as the game, right? So that's what unfortunately can bring a negative branding to the entire space. So that whole process needs to be thought through. So I would say to most investors, do your own research, understand the team before getting involved, because that's where the danger is today.
I see. Well, that makes sense. The danger is there, and everybody has to look at it thoroughly. Lena, what do you think?
What needs to be enhanced, not like necessarily fixed, is the playability. Because me myself, I talk with game projects because we're in our ecosystem we partner with like game projects, right? And when they show us the demo, and then they eventually show us like the live version, and it's been developed for like what, like a year or something. It's so like far more than the demo, and I can understand why. But when I ask something, this happens like, I think I can count like 10 times. What do you think about your playability? And they said, oh, we don't really care because it's just purely for earning. Which leads that you're directly saying to me that you're not going to be a sustainable game. You just have like the time span to exit, which means that you're not really, how to say, you're not really in it for the disruption. So
I
the first,
see.
the playability, and everything can comes like the rest, the community building and everything, and also Keish mentioned, of course, the tokenomics model. I think most of the game projects today are still figuring out like what's the ideal, and also for the game projects, you need to have multiple income streams, not only once. So I think yeah, that's it.
I see.
I just want to
Sure,
reinforce
sure.
what she's saying. I think the game has to be fun. right?
Agreed.
Like it's
Period.
got to be a game. It can't just be about blockchain, right? Because
Exactly.
then it's blockchain for blockchain's sake. So I totally agree.
Nice.
I mean, I'm the last, but you already said everything. Yeah, I think, I find that the tokenomics is the biggest problem in all of the industry because, like, all right, Jelena just mentioned that she actually was able to see the demo versions of some games, but it was not there before. Like, their main point is still to fundraise, not to deliver the actual product. So they don't really care about their users, the guilds, partners, whoever. They just need to take money, and that's it. Maybe run this project for a couple of more months and then escape, start another one, and this should be stopped because, like, this is what ruined play to earn. Like, how many of us do believe in it? I don't really think many of us. Yeah, and I think that's the main problem.
I see. I see. Well, when it's about trust issues, so well, GameFi, especially the one in crypto spaces, are quite new lately. Well, the hype starts from Axie Infinity. Everybody knows that one. But what do you think is the main idea, the main way to create a good trust within the community for gaming, for GameFi, of course.
Okay, firstly, I think the old mantra that trust is earned, not given, right? I think that's something which really has to be understood by most of these projects. So, in order to build trust, you have to set deadlines, you have to actually provide deliverables when you're going to do them. It's like any other it's like any other job, really, right? So, why do your colleagues trust you? Why does your staff trust you? It's because you're doing and you do what you say you're going to do. So there's far too many times where we see projects running into trouble that they haven't raised enough, or they raise too much and spend too quickly. Transparency and deliver. So shrouding things in secrecy only hurts everybody involved.
Exactly.
And
Agreed.
part of the blockchain is to make that stuff transparent, right? So I think we should embody what we say we want everyone else to do, which is be transparent, say this is where we are. The markets have gone down, they've gone south. If you managed your treasury where you had tokens that were spread across multiple different types of tokens and not stables, you're going to be impacted. You should be clear, right? Everybody understands everything's going south, and we've got banks which are coming under
Yeah.
trouble, right? So
Right.
not mentioning Credit Suisse at all, right? But it's happening all over the shop. So transparency is key to keep your entire community on board with you, to help you deliver and take you to next heights.
I see. I see. Anna, Elena.
Yeah, I totally agree with mostly the like milestone point deliverables. As a team, you need to be able to deliver like like on time, or like the worst case scenario, you need to have a backup plan. For example, if you cannot release this game like live, like for example today, at least you need to release, for example, the pass card first. So it's given the image to the community that you're not abandoning your deadlines, you're not abandoning the product, and it makes it earned the trust from the community. Like that's the first thing, and the second, you need to take your time, because I see it a lot of it like NFT and GameFi industry. When the core team member, when the team is really taking their time to build something, the community still, starts to rush. Like, is this like a slow rock or something? But when in reality, they're really building, and it takes. I heard like this saying that it's really faster to design a product than tailoring it. I can design a product, but my developers will take months to work on it. And they will face a trial and error. They will have to test, and then we give the feedback. It's a long process. So there's a thin line between the rock pool project and then they're really like building it. And in the meantime, what can you do to earn the trust from your community is to hand in hand interact with them, and also make some other events, like maybe like co-marketing with um, like another project or something like that. So there has to be something like every day, like whether it's like event, not necessarily have to be product, but just to have the image, not image actually, like just to show the community that you're still there building. But
I
the
just
team
want
has
to
to
look
work
at
like
you
front and back.
entertaining with your community every day. It's quite challenging because it takes a lot of time while you're supposed to build and do something more. I mean, not more important, but just something else except of just communicating and chatting in Discord with your community. So I don't know. The transparency means a lot, and yeah, of course, you need to talk to them. You need to let them know what's going on. But I mean, man, no, not every day.
Yeah, but I don't know, for so far, what we're doing in Comio for almost 2 years, I take at least like 5 minutes every day to just to say GM to the community in Discord, just to say GM, and then like when they're asking something, it's up to our community manager to have them like answered. So I know I'm not necessarily mean that you need to like interact with them every day. You need to answer their FUD, for example, every day. No, but it's some random chat like GM, like how's it going, something like that. Like we're gonna announce something really good. Please stay tuned, just like that. Only like 2 minutes even like a day. It's not like much time.
I see. I see. Well, I think the time is up. Is it? All right. So I would like to thank you, Kayesh, Elena, and Anna for the panel session. This is very interesting. Looking forward to talk more with you guys as well, up and down the stage, of course. So, guys, please give a big round of applause for our panelists. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and have a good day.